Hello. So we normally don't do political style videos. Most of it's like photography based or artist based type of things. But we wanted to make something concerning the LA wildfires. The reason is because something's off. Something's way off. 4 separate fires and now a 5th surrounding the city. No water? Really? How do you run out of water? I don't know. This is the most ridiculous thing. And then home insurance policies for 70% of the people that are there. Like basically State Farm just left. Or was it State Farm? I think it was State Farm. But in any case, 4 separate fires, now a 5th. It just seems a little bit too coordinated if you ask me. And what is California? It's one of those sanctuary states, and they allow all these things to come in. Now, whether you agree with Trump or not, there are some major problems that are going on. I mean, with Denver and there's other areas with these gangs and things like that. So, to think that this was global warming or some, I don't know, just random act of God or lightning did this or something. Lightning fires are designed by God to clear out dead wood. They're actually very beneficial to forests. Anybody that has traveled to national parks and talked to the rangers, they will tell you this. This is something very, very different. This is very coordinated and planned because fires don't just do what they're doing here. Am I right? Yeah.
It seems too intentional. Like maybe like these activist people, it's like intentionally, which kind of is contradictory because why, if you're trying to save the environment, why would you be setting fires? Or could it be terrorist type stuff?
Yeah, I mean, do you know, I believe this was 2 years ago? I might be wrong in my timeline. Was it 2 years ago or was it 3 years ago? The largest wildfire in Oregon was set by activists. In fact, the top 2 were set by these people wanting to bring awareness to global warming and all this other stuff. So you burned up all the trees? It does. These people are like delusional and they're thinking. So, and one of the big ones, I mean, I was out in Idaho a few years ago. Love the state. I mean, it's so fantastic. And there was a fire that happened there. Oh, global warming. No, it was a helicopter that crashed. It was a tourist helicopter that crashed. I mean, it was actually kind of sad, but that's what was initially promoted. Oh, it's global warming. No, it's not. It's things happen. See, that was an actual accident that happened. It wasn't someone taking gasoline or propane or something to try to blow them up, and to create fires. That is a very different scenario. In fact, what's floating around right now, I saw this on Twitter not too long ago, is that a Chilean gang member was arrested just outside of LA City trying to light a propane tank on fire. Come on. I mean, think about 4 separate fires right around the main city area in the woodsy type areas of LA. Very suspicious. Just in that, just in that part alone, it seemed very suspicious. The fact that there's a water problem because the people that are running the joint don't know how to keep their reservoirs filled when there's plenty of water to do this. There's plenty of water. They keep saying, oh, California's running out of water. No, they're not. There's plenty of water, and they can pull from Lake Mead if they have to. It is possible for them to do this. I know the planes were having a hard time because of the wind and things like that. Those big things, and they can go into the oceans. It's like a military craft. It's really cool. They could just scoop up ocean water and go dump it, but I know the winds were really bad, so it was hard for them to get into the air. But I guess the winds have died down a little bit, so they can do that. Just very, very suspicious.
How the global warming thing makes no sense because if, like, California can just spontaneously burst into fire, what about places like Arizona? Like, how come that doesn't just spontaneously fires start?
Exactly. Is California the only place with woods? They're the only place in the country with trees. What about Oregon? Well, they did have a couple. Washington had one last year out by Mount Baker, which if you've ever been out there, it is absolutely, it's no wonder why they call it Artist Point. It's absolutely phenomenal, this area. My people get inspired. But, over by the North Cascades and in that area and stuff. But that was like, again, that was, some things just happen. But see, the wildfire firefighters are really good at controlling these, if it's a lightning thing or even a man-made, to an extent, they can control those really quickly. They move very fast. I've seen them in action myself. Even in Florida, down by the Everglades, this was a year ago. Well, a little over a year ago. We were down there and there was a fire in the Everglades. And it was not man-made. It had something to do with, there was some sparks from one of the telephone wires or something that kind of run through there, but they were there. They moved very, very quickly, They contained it, and it was done and over with. This is something very different. Of course, they had water. They had the resources. They had the personnel. They had the, what they needed to take care of these things. And like she was saying, is California the only place with trees? Arizona gets really hot. Why don't they have wildfires? Nevada, New Mexico, Texas. You ever been to Texas in the summer? Oh my gosh. It is ridiculous how hot it gets. And yet, they don't seem to have these issues. The Smoky Mountains, now they did have a big one, but that was man-made. Remember a few years ago, it was around the Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge area. Dolly Parton, she really went all out to help those people. It was absolutely fantastic what she did. What this is, and that was man-made. It was the campfires that got out of control. That one. The point we're getting at here is fires are not coordinated in how they light and things like this, and they don't go into neighborhoods. You're getting into urban neighborhoods. Densely populated, houses everywhere. Come on, seriously.
And the particular area that it's hitting is like the wealthy areas.
Yeah. By and large, it's the wealthy areas. If you notice that James Woods lost his house, Mel Gibson lost his house. That's what I've heard so far. And actually, the James Woods thing is an interview he did on Fox. There was a neighbor of his that he kind of knows. He's an older guy, has dementia and stuff like that. But he couldn't get to him, and he called. And he called somebody, and they were able to get some firemen in there to pull the guy out. And like an hour later, the guy's house was completely engulfed. So it's like neighbors working together, and that's great. So when things just they seem planned, when they seem just to get out of control a little bit too quickly, just know that there's somebody behind that. It's not random. So that's our thoughts. Do you have any more thoughts on that? No. So stay tuned. I guarantee when all is said and done, if the news actually does what the news is supposed to do and be investigative, you're going to see that this was not global warming. This was not some random act. This wasn't lightning. And it wasn't just because they didn't clear their forest, even though they should. They should do controlled burns. I know California's got some really weird laws and restrictions on even doing controlled burns, which is necessary for forest growth. God's way is with lightning to control that. So, but I think all in all, when all is said and done, you're going to see it come out. That this was a terrorist act. I think there's going to be more of these, unfortunately. acts that are happening. I mean, think about it: New Orleans, Las Vegas. There's some things going on here because people don't like Trump, and I don't know if the LA thing is necessarily against him, but I think these things that have happened over the last 4 years are going to come. Is going to start happening, and there's going to be some things that have come down the pike here that aren't very good. You know, they want to make him look bad, or you have people that were let into this country that should have never have been in here. You know, we know for a fact that that's happened. You know, and they're not just coming through Mexico; they're coming from Canada too. That Montreal side is pretty open, you know, and it's pretty flat, so that you can get in. You know. The other side of the country is really mountainous. Mountain ranges are really, really hard to cross. So, anyway, hope things keep, you know, just be aware of these things. Don't believe the hype. Till next time.